what do you guys, just start sharing if you guys want to share what's going on in your life. How's, it doesn't have to be in regards to constellation work, but what's coming up for you? What do you want to look at today? What's been the growth point for you?
Just the three of us? I mean, other than you, Megan. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a small group today, intimate.
Yeah, so, my relationship status is single, so if anyone else wants to work on relationship stuff, then that would work for me. But if others don't, I'm definitely open.
So what we'll do is we'll check in with each of you, and then we'll kind of see if there's some common areas, and then
Sure.
maybe we'll do with that. So what's going on with you relationship wise? What's going on in that area?
Nothing particular right now. I mean, in general, I'm good. I'm still working, and I was working from home kind of before all this started, so things haven't really changed significantly for me. But I haven't been in a relationship in a while, so I'd certainly like to take this opportunity to start aligning, and attracting, so that when summer comes and we're outside, yeah.
Okay, so for you, it's an attracting relationship.
Right, yeah.
Okay. And Melanie and Nicole, what do you guys, what's going on with you guys? And again, let me always ask a question, and then I'm like, no. We can look at something that's particular to you, but then we can also, constellation work, we can do any type of constellation. So if you're like, can we constellate this subject or what have you, just to throw that out there, that doesn't actually have to be personal. So go ahead.
I was thinking before the call briefly about relationships. I had two thoughts. One was, I'm so happy being single. This feels so great to actually be like really deeply happy. And the other side was, oh, and I haven't been touched by a man in a really long time for me. And I've been feeling and noticing people talking about quarantine and having to stay away and not having physical connection. And I'm like, well, I'm used to not having physical connection. It's been years now. So I do resonate with that. And that is something I would love. And there's this other side that's just really happy being like arriving into this place in myself that feels really solid. And I'd say the other thread came up just today is this kind of nuance between being too careful in my life and what someone called being caring. I've been working in part of my own personal work around this part of me that wants to just be too careful, doesn't want to say the wrong thing, kind of tiptoes, kind of hesitates, doesn't want to kind of rock the boat, and really kind of shedding those layers and letting more of a full part of myself really be what drives kind of my life. And there's ways in which I'm still unraveling that, and it's still showing up, and I would welcome ways to continue to be caring, but not be careful, not censor, not hold back, not overly explain, and all those types of things that I think I sometimes fall into.
Okay, clear. Okay. All right, and for you, Nicole?
Well, I relate to the being careful. I feel like I'm in a holding pattern in a way at this time. I'm not really going, I'm exploring a little bit kind of how to go forward. So I'm at the other end of the scale, kind of from Lori. I'm in a, I have been with my husband for a very long time, and I'm in a actually very happy place in that regard. That's the one thing that seems to be very beautiful in my life. I'm not allowed to work due to the nature of my job right now. And so my finances are really taking a hit. and that I find very, very scary. That's a, you know, a piece where I have kind of, you know, already have some, I don't know, some karma, I guess, or something, and that, yeah, really needs a little bit of a closer look at some point. And so the closest common ground, I think, is in the careful and not being able to go out there. So there, as some of you know, there are some new things I'm exploring, and working with Reiki and Crystal, you can actually do from afar, and it works amazingly. But for me to really go out there and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I really, you know, would like a little bit more of this, doesn't seem to be easy for me. So I'm still somewhat invisible, I understand. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
And one thing, Nicole, so when you were talking about the financial pattern, so that constellation that you did a couple weeks ago, there was great movement in that, and still stand in that resolution. So that message was to be given to you. So
say that again. That was I couldn't hear very well.
The constellation that you did a couple weeks ago related to finances, there's great movement in that. So there's so still stand in that, because that's still the message is it's still moving a lot. Okay.
I understand that, and I'm a human being, so I can't do that.
I know.
Frustrated.
I totally know. And as facilitator, I have to give you that message. So I totally get that. So there's, I do.
How human of you.
Weird.
There's a couple overlappings here. I'm just going to feel into what that is here. Okay. So we're just going to start. We're going to just start. And it will, okay, we're going to start. I'm going to start talking. We're just going to start. All right. So let's do, you guys have your tabletop, your paper.
Yes.
So there's, let's go ahead and start. We're going to place ourselves into the field. So let's actually place, we'll call it me now. So me now on a piece of paper, and then drawing that arrow up top, that's the direction in which you're facing. And let's go ahead and we'll just place ourselves pretty much center here. Okay, so getting present to you in the current moment, me now. So let's just take a few moments of silence to feel into that. So noticing what you're noticing. Perhaps something came up immediately for you. Being with that as more things show up. Thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations. How does it feel to be in your body right now? How do you relate to the present moment right now? And perhaps there's an awareness of how you feel right now versus how you felt earlier in the day. So just acknowledging that, noticing that. So who wants to share what they're experiencing as me now? Or can I have, I'm going to change my words. Will someone share what they're experiencing as me now?
I felt the minute we started, I was like, oh, those two things that I brought up are related. Like there's just this aha around the careful and the relationship stuff. And I could just feel this excitement kind of energy come over me at the feeling of the truth of how those things intersect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, feels good to already see something around that.
Yeah. And because there's only 3 of you guys, I think we'll check in with each of you.
Okay.
So Nicole, can you please share?
I have to unmute myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think acknowledging that I'm human brought some lightheartedness. I was just staying with that. I'm like, yeah, that's a good change.
Yeah. Thank you.
So
Yeah.
that's it for now.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I felt really light and excited and happy, like more than I was realizing I was actually feeling. It's like, oh, I have been just really calm and centered and feeling relatively good. And I didn't even recognize it because I hadn't stopped to check in. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. All right. Let's look at this. And we called it, we're gonna put in hold, we're gonna call it holding pattern. Okay. Those words were mentioned. So let's look at the holding pattern. So, and perhaps it is around relationships, perhaps it's around expressing ourselves. And I think again, those overlap. So let's just see what this holding pattern, and it could be something completely different. Let's see what it shows up for you. So placing that in front of me now, and let's fill into the holding pattern. And let's actually say this holding pattern. I know that's being very picky, but we're speaking to this holding pattern that we're speaking of, as opposed to the holding pattern, two completely different things. So this holding pattern. So feeling into this holding pattern, placing your hand on it, just first notice how that shows up, the energy of that. What's the sensation of it? And perhaps it feels like it could be like an experience of stuckness, and maybe a jagged movement, perhaps. So just noticing what that is for you. And then you can place your hand back on me now. How are you standing in your shoes in relation to this holding pattern? So noticing how it feels to be in your shoes, you now, and looking at this holding pattern. How do you feel towards it? Is there a movement that you make in regards to it? And then as well, you can also place your one hand on this holding pattern and one hand on me now, and feel into both of those at the same time. Okay, so what are you noticing when this holding pattern comes in? Can I have someone share?
I want to share.
Mm-hmm.
It was so immediate. Like, this is to keep you small. This is to keep you in your place. That's what it was saying. And when I feel into me now, I'm actually really feeling imprisoned by it. But it was something, it somewhat surprised me. That there was something that's something in front of me that says, I want to keep you small. I don't, and like, so something inside me feels like I want to grow. And there's something that really does want to prevent that.
Mm-hmm. So Nicole, what is this holding pattern? What is it? What does it show up as? Any more information there?
I thought it had only to do with finances, but it seems to be way more. Me as being a strong woman, doing my own thing, doing, if you want, so my healing work or working with the crystals. And kind of all this stuff that also is related to my creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever, it's almost like showing up as a strong woman. Mm-hmm. Standing in your, really being tall, being seen, especially as a female.
So that's what's showing up for this holding pattern. And so the first thing you said was about kind of, say that again. The first thing you said the experience was about holding you in place.
To be small. It says this is to keep you small.
Okay. So there's all of that about the crystals and all of that you love in here as well. So I'm just trying to get more clarity around that.
Okay. Yeah. That's how it seems right now.
Yeah. Okay. And so does this feel like this is a part of you?
More like something that has been imposed on me. So it's like, I feel like, there has been some very rebellious being, and she has been put into her place time and time again. And there are only certain things that are acceptable to do. So you have to fit into a mold, and this is kind of how it feels.
Yeah.
So sure, the Reiki would be part of what doesn't fit in the mold.
Yeah. So let's do this for you, Nicole. We're gonna write on here what that is. Okay. So we'll put in here, and you can also modify these words. There's something about shoulds and beliefs and constrictions that are entangled with this. So I'm going to write that. If there's other words for you as well, put those on here. Shoulds and beliefs and constrictions. So what I'm going to add, I will just add verbally that part of what we're experiencing in the awakening right now is going from a rule-based 7-chakra should system to a resonance system, okay? So this stuff, these shoulds, this stuff is coming up right now, okay? Just acknowledging that. Let's place that on this holding pattern, which, and Nicole, for you, well, let's do this first. We're going to put this on here first. I think we're going to change those words for you, okay? And actually, let's just do that right now. Can you place on here? And what is it that how do you want to describe it? Your crystal work? How do you want to describe your life's work, your passion, your...
Right now I would call it shamanic work, and I don't know why, because that's not something I have resonated with in the past.
Well, let's do that. So let's call it shamanic work. And Nicole, for you, and ladies, if there's something that resonates with you too, that you want to modify for your own constellation, please do that now. So right now we're actually going to separate these two. We're going to take out this holding pattern for you. We're going to place down shamanic work, which is collapsed with these shoulds, beliefs, and constrictions. So let's feel into those two together.
Yeah, maybe you should put some word like healing and healing work or so. I'm really not sure how to describe it, because I don't really know how it shows up yet.
Yes,
I have some insecurity with that.
And this is perfect that we're adding these words for you, because it's giving you clarity on what that is. So healing work as well, and we can continue to add words for you.
Yeah, and so okay, the crystal, sorry.
That's okay.
Crystal healing has to be there, because that's what the crystals really want to be there.
Yes. And again, ladies, feel into your constellation when we're doing this work for Nicole, and modify that for you as well. Okay, so let's feel into shoulds, belief, and constrictions, collapse with shamanic work and crystal healing work. Let's feel that together. How does that feel to have those two collapsed?
Problematic, to say the least.
Yeah, and feeling into both you, me now, and this together. How does that feel?
can't move.
Yeah, it's that holding pattern. All right, so what we're gonna do, Nicole, let's go ahead and take off this shoulds, beliefs, and constrictions. I'm just gonna place it aside here for right now.
Okay.
And let's feel into shamanic work and crystal healing work by itself. Feel how that feels without it. What do you notice?
Better?
Mm-hmm. And then feel into shoulds, beliefs, and constrictions. Feel into that separately. Feel into that. What do you notice? When you
They are having a fit.
They're having a fit, aren't they?
Yeah.
They want to jump back over here, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna, Nicole, for you. And again, ladies, if this is something that you're releasing from your constellation, whatever you're releasing, we're actually gonna let's place in source. I'll place in my candle, and I will also write on a piece of paper source. So we got to give that some place to go, right? So it thinks it belongs here, and we're actually going to release that from your field. So anything that wants to be released from your fields, ladies, please go ahead and acknowledge that. So let's place your hand on source. Let's bring source in. And feeling that encompassing the entire field and beyond. Okay, then we'll feel back into shoulds, beliefs, and constrictions. What do you notice when we place source in? Nicole, what do you notice shoulds, beliefs, and constrictions feels now?
Not sure, but they seem to be a little bit smaller.
Yeah, so they're actually aware of source right now. So before they had this sense of belonging right here. They're like, no, that is where I belong. This has shifted a little bit for them. So just we'll do a little bit of a shamanic work here. So we're gonna let our helpers on the other side also help this. So as excuse me, as we move into this resonance-based experience of life, our helpers on the other side are helping us get there as well as we shift to a new resonance range. And so they're working with us to do this, to remove these old beliefs and constrictions and shoulds. So asking them to help remove them as well, to remove these from our field, from Nicole's field. And again, ladies, if you're doing that, ask them to remove them from your field as well. So Nicole, do you feel like they're ready to move, to leave?
They are not ready by themselves. So I would call in an angel helper actually for this to help them along a little bit.
Yeah. And let's actually we can actually put in where they belong. Where they belong. We can place that next to source.
I think that helps them.
Yeah.
They want to belong somewhere.
And they can actually be recycled when they go back to source into new energies. So this old energy is no longer going to be allowed to be in this experience of life right now, that those vibrations are going away. So they get to be recycled and reused, that energy. Okay. So I feel like they're ready to go. And again, our helpers are helping them. Is that okay if we move them to where they belong with source?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna do that. And there's lots of, our helpers are happy that we're doing this. Let's just say that. Okay, so we'll just reconnect them. We'll connect them to source. We can actually feel into that for a few moments. Feel them reconnecting to source. So being repurposed, the energy being repurposed. What do you notice? Anything you notice? And also, Nicole, when you place your hand back on me now and place and feel into your shamanic work and crystal healing work, what do you notice?
It's shifting.
Yeah. Okay, so Nicole, continue to receive that. Okay, so continue to feel into your field here. And ladies, I want to move on to you guys as well and check in with you. And I'm going to, Nicole, again, continue to allow that to move and to work from there. And so, and we did a lot of steps for Nicole here. Who wants to go next? And we can kind of look into your field.
I'll go just because I'm going to have a hard stop because I've got another call.
Okay.
So I'll put this holding pattern back in front of me.
Mhm.
And then where do you want me to start in terms of talking about it? It may have shifted because we were talking about other things.
Yeah. So just so when you place this holding pattern in, what showed up for you, and then if there was any movement as we were going through Nicole's constellation, so just let me know what happened there.
Sure. So originally when I just checked in with this holding pattern, it felt like a wall, a block, a refusal, stubborn, and it had to do with my life was on hold for a man. When I looked at it just holding me, there was sadness and uncertainty. When I held them both, there was compassion. And then as we did some of the work with Nicole, when I just go on to the holding pattern now, it's a lot softer. That wall's not there. It's just there's a little more love and compassion. If I just hold me and look at it, there's not really anything. It's kind of like confusion, like what is it? If I hold them both, let me see. It feels very neutral. The holding pattern feels neutral when I have my hand on both me and the holding pattern.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually sensing, as you're speaking, a movement in your field. So, and we're going to follow that movement. So,
well, yeah. So there's one thing I should mention as well. I'm a Reiki master. I have a full-time job in the corporate world and have for a long time been wanting to move into intuitive healing work, speaking, channeling. So I did bring that in when Nicole brought it in, because part of the holding pattern was waiting to do that work until I had a romantic relationship. And so I don't know. So I have two other sticky notes. One is intuitive healing work, speaking, channeling, and the other one is romantic relationship partnership. And so if there's anything you're guided to guide me to tell, you know, to do with those. I was moving them around before. Pardon?
You said romantic relationship was one.
Yeah, and then intuitive healing work, speaking, channeling. So.
Okay, because this showed up in your field for me when I was feeling into it, and then intuitive healing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And yeah, and channeling, speaking.
And where did you place these in your field?
Well, I had taken, so I had put the intuitive healing work in front of me, and I put the holding pattern opposite to both of them. That was originally, and that's when I.
And where was the holding pattern?
Exactly where you have it.
Okay.
And that's where I got, the sense that I was waiting on the man to do the healing before I did the healing work.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then I don't remember what I did, but I did put the romantic relationship right in front of me and felt into it at one point, and I think I took the others away. Okay.
Because what I'm sensing, that I was sensing that this turned over here, this moved over here, and then I was actually sensing that I saw a man, romantic partner. So it's interesting. So first the intuitive healing and channeling and speaking felt like it was in the way at first?
No, I didn't have it on there at first. I just had the holding pattern on there. And then when I brought in the intuitive healing with the holding pattern beside it, that's when I got the sense that, oh, I'm not doing the healing work because I'm waiting on a romantic relationship, which is the holding pattern.
Clear. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just feel into that. So when I'm feeling into your field right now, it feels like you can actually receive this, like actually integrate with.
Yeah,
your-
it feels
okay.
good. Mm-hmm.
So let's actually do that. So let's,
Just,
to integrate, we're going to place intuitive healing and channeling and speaking underneath you.
okay.
And let's just feel with both of those together. So place your hand on me now and integrated with intuitive healing and channeling and speaking.
Feels very good. Light,
Yeah.
happy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, feels good.
Yeah. And so let's ask our helpers on the other side to also help with that integration of this throughout this constellation as needed
Mm-hmm.
and over time as well. That feels very natural. So let's actually let's feel into romantic relationship. What do you notice when you feel into romantic relationship in me now?
It's a little more open than it was. There's just a little bit of hesitation.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. So I feel like there is a little step from him to you. So let's just have him do that.
okay. That feels better. I moved it closer. Yeah, it feels a lot better.
Can you stand in your shoes and tell him I see you?
Okay. Do I have to hold both of them when I do that or just one?
No, you can just put your hand on you.
Okay. I see you.
Yeah. So let's just see if he receives that. I'm kind of hearing you, me. Tell him yes, you.
Yes, you.
So I'm hearing I didn't know you were interested.
I'm feeling much more of a circle of love between the two,
Mm-hmm.
me and the romantic relationship. Yeah.
So ask him to come a little closer.
Okay.
Let's see if he'll do that. Do you think when you put your hand on him, is he willing to do that?
Yeah, a little, but not that close.
Yeah, he's willing to come closer. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But not right up to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm about the same distance as you. Yeah.
So I'll speak in for him.
Okay.
And it's also good to see you.
Mm.
So there's this awareness of each other now. Okay.
Okay.
And I hear again from him, I didn't know you were interested.
Okay.
So just receive that message there.
Go
When
ahead.
that's spoken, I do feel that there's this connection between you.
Right. And I felt like I needed to say, I'll make my signal clearer. I'll make my interest clearer kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be clearer
Mm-hmm.
so that you receive the message.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's leave that there. So I do feel like there's been this connection made there and this communication there.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, Melanie, do you want to, let's go, and I know that we've kind of gone with other people's constellations, so can you tell me where you've gone with yours?
Yeah. Let's see here. The holding pattern was shifted into my own wording of the fog.
Okay.
Because it felt like a fog over my heart. And when you asked Nicole, does it feel like it's part of her? She said no. And my answer for myself was also no.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it as a fog. I didn't put in work and dogma and rules and effort as sort of my equivalent to her shoulds and woulds and coulds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what came in as what felt heavy for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't feel good when I put the two of those together and I merged them as like looking right at me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put in what I really want to do in the world and what I love doing and what I'm really good at doing, which is empowering women and doing coaching work. And it feels like I need to write sensuality in there, which I didn't write, but I wanted to. But I was also a little like, oh, that feels really true. But there's some part of me that's like, oh, I probably should put that.
Do you want to do that? What is it? How do you?
Sensuality.
Sensuality.
But there's a little hesitation there.
Okay, well, let's put it in. And so, okay, where did you place this?
I put that in front of me now when I took out, I eventually moved the work and the dogma and the fog to where they belong. And then I put in the coaching to look at me.
So they're being recycled right now.
Yeah, and that felt really good. I felt like a coolness come over my heart when I did that.
So you're looking at empowering women, coaching, and sensuality?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So when you look at that, standing in your shoes. So let's first, when you place your hand on empowering women and coaching and sensuality, how does that feel itself?
Like a volcano.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very powerful volcano.
Yeah.
So let's just get that in your body, really, really feel that in your body. Feel the energy of that. And see the largeness of it, the hugeness of it. The depth of it, the breadth of it. Do you see, I'm seeing actually a lot of women, like many, many women impacted, receiving from this. Anything else you're noticing when you feel into it?
Feels like it's lava that turns into kind of this like fairy dust that just sort of floats in the ether. It's almost like a kiss, like it just brushes against, like it's so impactful, but at the same time, there's like a real tender kind of gentle, like whisper onto people's skin that feels really like a beautiful kind of marriage of strength and softness.
Yeah.
And I just feel really excited about it.
Yeah. So let's feel back into me now and just look at it. So we're just going to place your hand just on me now. Feel into it, look at it. How do you feel standing in your shoes looking at it?
Like, oh boy, like there's a giggle, my little one comes up a bit and she's like, I want to like, I'm like holding her. It's like, yeah, like we're ready. Like I'm taking you on this journey, but she's like a little, I can feel her like a little, yeah, just a little hesitancy.
I hear her asking, can I have this? Like, is this mine to have? Yeah.
There's also something around sex and sex being a part of this and some sort of, I don't know, but it brings up a little of that like shyness too.
Yeah.
Of her. I feel like it activates it.
So tell that part of you, tell her how old you are. So say your age.
I'm 41 years old.
Yeah. And this expresses all of me.
And this expresses all of me.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's feel, so placing one hand on me now and one hand on empowering women, coaching, sensuality. So let's feel into both of those together. And what do you notice when you feel into both together at the same time?
Feels like solid ground.
Yeah.
Like the grounding I've been wanting.
Do you feel like you'd like to integrate with this, or would you like to keep looking at it?
I'd like to keep looking at it.
Okay, yeah. I feel like this is an interesting movement to actually like walk around it
Mm.
and look at it from all directions. So
Mm.
perhaps do that. And there's also like this dancing around it as well.
Sounds like me.
So just look at it from all directions here. Just take that journey. I think there's different components to it.
Mm.
Yeah. And also noticing when you want to jump in it. So just noticing that there may be a jumping in it desire.
Whew.
And then just resting, looking back at it. How was that experience?
There's something about wanting to trust that the landing will be like jumping in a pool of water, as opposed to like hitting concrete, or like I feel like when I jump, like there's a plunging that's also like has grace in it.
Mhm. So what is this? So this jumping in it, so say more about the jumping into? Like, how do you jump into it?
I don't know. You said something about going in it or something, and I just saw myself like go in water, and I was like, oh, it's water. It's not concrete. Like it's not going to hurt. Or
Uh,
I think there's a little like, oh, like is it gonna? I don't know. Is it gonna hurt? Or there's just that feeling of it's like, no, I can trust. It's soft
Melanie,
landing.
let's do this. Let's actually put this beside you.
Okay.
Put this beside you. And how does it feel to have it side by side?
I feel nervous.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm shaking a little bit inside.
Let's experience this. Let's actually take a step with it. So we're going to journey with it. Take a step with it.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And perhaps looking at it again. So let's look at it. It's kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah, it is a big deal.
Yes.
It's a long time coming.
Mm-hmm. I'm doing a lot in my life. I'm up to big things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it can be a little scary at times. I could be a little nervous about it at times.
Mm.
And that's what makes me know I'm alive.
Yeah, there's a sense of being held that I can really trust here. And there's something about roses, that the like beauty, the sweetness, the scent, the sprouting, the blooming, that feels connected to the kind of energy of putting myself in this place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
And perhaps placing yourself back beside it.
Okay.
And just work with this a little bit. So maybe you want to look at it again.
Okay.
Perhaps you want it behind you, supporting you. So just feel into how that feels right now. Or just side by side, working with you. So working with you on your journey. It feels like when you have it beside you, you can actually take a step with it on your journey.
Mm.
So just notice where that feels good right now, where that feels best, most supportive.
Yes, I feel momentum when it's next to me.
Yeah.
Feels a little, there's that little bit of butterflies, but I also feel the current. There's a current.
And so noticing how it feels supporting and not, pushing or overwhelming. It's actually supporting in this position here.
Mm.
Propelling you on your journey, taking steps with you on your journey.
Mm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. We just have a few more minutes, and I just want to check back in with each of you. So especially when we have an intimate group, we're able to do constellations a little bit differently and kind of go more into people's fields. And so can we just check back in with each of you and let me know how you are in your constellations that we can complete. Nicole, we can start with you.
Okay. I'd like the idea of having this work thing right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was like, oh, this is like a friend. So it's a part. It's not my whole life, because obviously there are other people in my life as well, or other things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like this side by side, kind of holding hands, being friends, felt really good. Before, when I was looking at it, I don't know, there was something that was probably a little bit more overwhelming, even though always shifting. But this, I don't know, this for me, what you were suggesting for Melanie, that really, it's like that does the trick for right now, because working especially with the crystals, they are my teachers, my helpers, my allies, and I don't know, so that feels very real in a way. And it translates to other pieces. So that's just a beautiful experience.
Yeah, and part of like the next workshop we're doing with awakening our future self, we're going to be looking at contracts. And so we've been given these gifts, and the question is, what's our part of the contract, and what does the contract say with the other side? So we're the foot soldiers here, doing the work, doing the healing, which is ultimately what the other side wants to have happen, but we're doing the work down here. So with the contract with the other side, we get to go, okay, this is how it is. This is how I do my work, and this is what I'm asking for in return. So we kind of make we bring it to the light. We make an actual contract where we spell that out, so that our work can be beside us, so that our work's not overwhelming us, so that our work's not blocking us, but actually so we can actually walk side by side with our work. Okay, so that's the position to be in. It's a tool. Thank you, Nicole. Lorian, do you want to wrap up your concept?
Yeah, I'm really not sure what to say. I mean, we've definitely moved a lot closer. Everything feels open and good, and there's been more movement. When I try and actually connect them touching, I still don't get quite there, but they're pretty close. So
yeah, so that was a really great space to be in. So having that space and then having that connection with him. So that's like a meeting.
Right.
So be in that space, and so just sit with that, and feel, and the messages of I didn't see you. So those were received, and be clear. So those are received as well. And so just be in that.
Yeah, and the holding pattern became kind of divine timing. It's sort of like, an unfolding in process.
Yeah. And the awareness of that can be very, very supporting. It's like the moment when something happens and you look back and you go, oh, I'm glad it didn't happen any quicker, even though during it I wanted it to happen right now.
Right, of course. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And then Melanie, any last words from you?
I was really sweating by the end of that, and I noticed my belly there's like beads of sweat dripping down, and I'm like, oh, we definitely touched something, because it's not really hot in here. So my body was responding to that. I like the idea of coaching and the work that I'm doing and want to do more of, and me now being these sort of parallel train tracks. That's kind of the image I saw.
Yeah.
It feels really good. And I've just had this curiosity bubble up around, well, what does this have to do with me being careful? And I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know.
So feel after this constellation, feel into that word, and see if that shifts it. The whole
Okay.
being careful. And of course, I just want to say, when you bring sensuality into the field, it's gonna heat up. I mean,
Of course.
we should be adding that more into the field. I love that. All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you guys get. I do this because I want to spread this work, and I also want you guys to learn how to facilitate too. So this is facilitating your own lives, and hopefully, you're also spreading that with others, and through your modalities as well. So, all right, good night, and again, we're starting that workshop on Monday. I hope you guys can join us, and I know Melanie is joining us. So, all right, we'll see
Thank you, Megan. Thank you,
Thank
girls,
you.
ladies.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.